everybody, welcome to Front of My Mother's Basement. I'm Jason.
And I am Michael.
We're just hanging out here. We actually are in the same room together for once. This is awesome.
Kind of scary. Yeah, we went, we decided, you'll notice we have the spiffy new intro. Thank you, Jason, for making that. That was very cool. Yeah, we did some stuff today and went out and explored and figured, hey, I'm in town anyway. Let's just do the show from Jason's house rather than have to fight LA traffic all the way back to Ventura.
So it's not really from my mother's basement. It's from Jason's apartment.
Yeah, but in a week. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Sadly, yes.
It will be from your mother's basement.
Why'd you have to say that? It's only for a while. It's all good.
Because my mom doesn't have a basement, so...
Neither does mine, but yeah.
Either way.
We'll make it work one way or the other.
So welcome to the show. We're going to try and be a little shorter than we were last time, because last time was the day after E3. It was...
So many things to talk about.
So many things. Had to talk about all the things. And that, there's been a lot of stuff, and they've actually gotten some feedback since then.
All I got to say, though, about E3 is that we showed a lot of stuff, and there was a lot of stuff to cover. But a lot of it was crap.
And Kotaku agrees. Did you see that article?
Kotaku agreed
Kotaku did an article that basically said, let me apologize to all of our fans for E3. Which was like, wow, really? But it's pretty much accurate, because there was a whole lot of tech demos and not a whole lot of actual meat and potatoes, which is what we were discussing last week. Granted,
given with all that, though, there was a few shining beacons around that. Number one being Watch Dogs.
Yes.
Watch Dogs was
gorgeous.
Dogs
is the shit.
It's coming out for PC. Thank you.
Is it coming for PC? They announced it?
It's coming for PC.
Yes.
And what's even better about it, because people are saying, oh, it's just on a high-end PC. It's not going to come on this generation of consoles. The producer for Watch Dogs came out and said it will be coming out for the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yes, I do.
So it will be current gen as well, which makes it even better. Yay, finally people are tapping the full potential of these systems. But that's normal. That takes about 10 years in the cycle,
but
right?
I don't know about 10 years, but I'm waiting for my PS3 to chug. Because everything I saw on screen, running that on a high-end PC that has, on the average, 8 to 16 gigs of RAM, quad-core, badass graphics card.
Quad SLI, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, no, I doubt it. But still, it's all of that power... versus this, I can't speak for the Xbox because I've never owned one, or the 360 rather. But for the PS3, the cell processor is awesome. But do you realize how little memory a PS3 has?
It's like 256 megs, isn't it?
512.
Wow.
That's it. That's entire system RAM.
More than that in my laptop.
The entire system RAM of a PS3 is less than my cell phone. My iPhone has more memory than the goddamn PS3.
CPU graphics can only take you so far. And yes, the cell processor is scalable, but you got to have some way to cache all that.
Well, and that's the thing is, the big argument I've been having when I first heard about the PS3 way back back in the day, they're announcing, we're going to do all this with 512 megs of RAM. I'm like, really? No. No, you're not. Not really.
What was it?
But they've done what they've done with the caching ability has been impressive.
Very true.
I think they're about to hit the wall, and they're about to hit the wall hard.
And with Nintendo coming out with the Wii U and saying it's more powerful than the Xbox and 360 and the PS3.
That's also had 10 years of development time.
Yes, exactly. But I gotta wonder though. I forget how much RAM does that have. I think would they say a gig?
Did they announce the specs on the Wii U?
No, but there are some people with the dev units are out there and saying stuff.
It's probably. I would be surprised if it was under a gig.
Yeah.
But even a gig, that would be a dramatic improvement. Can you imagine the level of textures and detail and buffering and caching you could do with 1 gig of RAM on the PS3 or the Xbox 360?
Well, I got an easy way for you to fix this.
Mod it, crack it open?
Well, kind of.
Not that the system will know what to do with it.
No. All we need to do is just basically buy like 10 or 20 of them and then just sync them all together in a giant cluster and then go and, hey, look, the frame rate.
You can't do that anymore.
Unless you revert back to the old firmware. Remember, the Air
Where
Force...
are you going to find the old firmware?
The Air Force. They have 25,000 just sitting there.
Yo, Obama. Yo, dog, it's me. Yo, we're throwing this party over here at the house, yo, and I heard that like you're like the boss of the Air Force and shit. So can you give me some of them old school PS3s? We want to do a super cluster. We want to do some Unreal Tournament up in this bitch. Can you help me?
Actually, I do have a
Boy,
story.
I'm gonna get my ass kicked for that.
I do have a quick side story that's related to that. Years ago, when a hacking group I was with, they initially formed called DC 949.
Ah, yes.
There at UC San Diego, there's a supercomputer there, and you could rent time on that. And because you can rent it by a few hours and whatnot. And we all had a bunch of money we pulled together, and we're like, well, we can run some calculations. Well, these calculations are going to take 5 minutes at best. Well, we paid for 3 hours. So what are we going to do? What's the latest game that just came out right now? F.E.A.R. Let's put F.E.A.R on the supercomputer.
Oh my god.
Our frame rate was in the quad digits. It was awesome.
Seriously, you guys were getting over 1,000 frame rate? The
guys working there were just looking at them going, I'm going to get my computer. I'm going to play on this. It was freaking amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
What'd you buy a supercomputer for? Playing video games?
Hey, it's supercomputer. I can't speak very well, thank you. This is what happens when we don't have a script. But at least it's more smooth.
It is, yes.
But yeah, no. So hopefully, I'm hoping that at some point this year, one of the big three has announced the new thing. Of course, they announced the new hotness last year.
Yes.
Surprisingly, the other two didn't. And they haven't announced anything this year. In fact, Sony has gone on record of saying, yeah, we're not even going to start, or was it Sony or Microsoft? They went on record saying, we're not even going to start talking next gen for at least another 2 or 3 years.
Sony did that. They came out at CES and said that.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 years. Come on, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. Your stuff's good. It's really good. But
I do got to say, though, to wrap up the video game stuff, regardless of how well the console stuff works and the next gen and whatnot, my PC is still going to trump all of that any day of the week.
Yes. For the most part. So, anyone with a modern PC, and especially the price of those things have come down to now.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent my latest tower, I've got a quad-core i7, came with 8 gigs of RAM, which is unfortunately the top end. Thank you very much, Hewlett-Packard. But
those are right.
We've already sworn 4 times. Trust me.
Yeah, true.
We are trying to cut down from last week because we went a little overboard. But but I paid for that tower with 8 gigs of RAM, a terabyte of hard drive, quad core i7, operating at I want to say 3 gigs. Yeah, I think it's 3 gigahertz, or right up under 3 gigahertz. I paid under $700 for that thing.
Okay, yeah, for about the same thing, because the desktop we're running all this on right now is an i7. It now has 2 video cards in it. It has a surprising, because I found an amazing deal for this, 24 gigs of RAM, DDR3. The thing, I could load Windows 7.
Hate you sometimes, right?
I could load entirety of Windows 7 on there, and it'd be just fine.
In RAM? What do you do with your 24 gigs of RAM, Jason? Oh, I load the entirety of Windows 7. Why, Jason?
Because I can't afford an SSD. Oh, well.
That's insane, dude. Why?
Well, let's move on to from.
Okay, let's move away from video games.
Yeah, because we talked about that all last week. Now you've been watching Tron Uprising a lot lately.
Oh God, I love Tron Uprising. Oh, sorry, nerd button just hit.
Yes.
Anyone who's known me for any length of time knows that I am a hardcore Tron fan. I saw the first one. Okay, this is where Michael shows his age. Not that you can't tell already.
I can't say anything, or else I will get hit because I'm in the same room.
I saw the first one in 70mm 6-track Dolby. So at the time, that was the 1981 version of today's DTS or THX. It was before THX came out, obviously. And it was phenomenal. I mean, the light cycle scenes and the recognizers just, whoa! And you're watching it on this giant, 30-foot screen, and you're just like, oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then Indiana Jones came out. But at the time, I was just like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And I've been a big fan of Tron ever since. I've always been a fan of computer graphics. I am a computer graphics nerd, whore, whatever you want to call it. Originally, that was what I wanted to do with my life. Then I discovered I'm not so good at it. I'm not bad, but I'm not as good. Not as good as the pros. And then I first heard about Tron Legacy when they broke it at Comic-Con. What, 3 years back?
About that, yeah.
When they showed
Just
the concept video.
Yeah, the concept video, yeah.
And then I saw Flynn, and I'm just like,
people went
oh my
crazy on
god, oh my god, collective nerdgasm along the Disney sphere. It was just.
I still find
I think
it funny.
they spent weeks wiping off the castle. It was just horrible.
I still find it interesting that Disney gave these guys the go-ahead, the green light to create a concept video and show it publicly rather than doing an internal and going through the
Well, they did it
process.
internal first. I mean, they had to have done it internal first. Disney's, even under Eisner, wasn't that... Well, okay, Eisner was kind of like a Hitler, but... oh, God, I just did the Godwin War. Anyway... Eisner was really, really, really hardcore strict, but even... they had to get it through the House.
Right.
You know, and then they said, okay... In-house, they're like going, okay, yeah, this looks really cool. This is awesome. What's the audience going to think? And then they took it to Comic-Con, and Comic-Con just collected sploosh.
Yeah.
It was, oh my God. Then we waited, 2 years for the movie to come out. And it did not disappoint. No, it did not have a deep storyline. I wasn't expecting a deep storyline. I was expecting really pretty graphics.
Ooh, shiny.
And I got ooh, shiny. That's all I cared about was ooh, shiny.
The level of fandom that's come out of the Tron Legacy, before we get into Tron Uprising, has been insane. Obviously, you get a bunch of people doing the cosplay outfits using a variety of Dayglow stuff.
Right. And then you have, of course, Tron guy, the classic internet dude.
Classic Tron guy.
I guarantee you, he was in line.
And then you got to the point where even that one custom chopper place did that. Fully
the guy that made the full size light cycle.
Yeah,
that works.
was insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. You guys should Google that sometime. Do this whole.
It's on sale too for like what, 60?
There's another curse word. Supercomputer equals judgment.
That's a while ago.
Okay, sorry. But anyway, so I got hardcore again back into Tron,
right?
And I was just like, oh my god, it's happening! And then Daft Punk did the soundtrack, and it was just sploosh after sploosh after sploosh. So
bad mental.
What?
That's bad mental image.
Watching too much Archer. Anyway.
Phrasing.
So then they announced that there was a cartoon coming, and I was just like, yeah, okay, it's gonna be typical. I was afraid that they were gonna do with it like other movie adaptations have gone, where they did the movie was awesome, and they did a cartoon to tie in with the movie, and it was crap.
Like the old school Mighty Ducks cartoon that was tied in with the live action movies.
Yeah.
Where they had the giant duckmobile.
Yeah. So I'm having visions of that, especially when I'm hearing it's going to be on Disney XD, which is their edgy cartoon station.
They think Naruto Shippuden is edgy. And then granted, in the original
Naruto's
version,
not bad.
some of it is edgy, but I gotta imagine Disney probably has edited that stuff out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't watch it.
Okay.
I'll watch Legend of Korra on Nickelodeon, but I don't watch anything on Disney.
See,
except Tron.
Yes. But they're streaming them on the website.
Well, no, actually, they only stream the first 3.
Oh, they're not going to stream the rest of it?
I don't... Well, we'll find out next week.
All right.
But, so I'm watching it, and they've got, Box Lightner's in it. Okay, well, yeah, kind of, he's Tron. You kind of have to have him. They've got Elijah Wood, who's really good.
Right.
Lance Henriksen, who, as the main bad guy, who's awesome.
Works really well.
Yeah, he does. He works really, really well. And
Bruce Boxleitner is returning reprising his role as Tron.
Tron's in there, which is kind of trippy. And what's surprising me are the little voices you don't expect. Case in point, this week they did the thing where they rescued the guy Coupler. And I figured out who his voice is.
Who?
And I was like, oh my god, you ever watch Fringe?
Yeah.
Agent Broyles.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the guy who plays Agent Broyles is a character in this show.
I gotta say though about that is that in terms of stunt casting, you gotta get a relatively big name actor rather than giving it to a regular voice actor who can do just as good, if not better. I'm not really always for it, but when it works, like sometimes like in the Disney movies or the Disney dubs of the Ghibli movies, it kind of works.
Depending on which one.
Depending on which one. But with Tron Uprising, I have yet to come across a stunt cast character or voice actor that hasn't hit that mark.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, their casting has been incredibly good in this, and Paul Rubens is in there somewhere, and I haven't figured out who he is yet. Because I haven't heard the classic, you know, I'm waiting for the Pee-wee laugh. If the Pee-wee laugh shows up, I'll be like, there he is. Found you, you bastard.
It's going to happen eventually.
But anyway.
I'm still waiting for Daft Punk to make an appearance in there.
I don't think they will.
You don't think so?
They're not doing the music. I mean, the music is inspired by the thing.
The person who's actually composing the music for the series is the person that collaborated with Daft Punk for the Legacy soundtrack.
Right.
So that's why it sounds so, you know, in sync
similar.
with it.
Right.
That's why I believe there's a possibility in the future, maybe in the finals, one of the final episodes, that Daft Punk will show up in a cartoon form. Which means there'll be more figures out there and more posters and more stuff, and I'll be just going broke.
I'll be looking at another figure that I don't want to spend $80 for, but God, I want it. Yeah. Yeah. So if you haven't checked out Tron Legacy yet, do. Very, very. It's completely worth it. The writing is good. Unfortunately, it suffers from the classic, oh, wait, almost nobody dies. But at the same time, that's not true, because
in the first episode.
In the second episode.
Yeah, true.
So they're not afraid to kill characters. They're afraid to kill main characters, but they're not afraid to kill characters. But they don't do it gratuitously.
Okay.
It's not salt shakers everywhere.
True.
And I'm sorry, that's what it looks like.
It really does.
Giant little salt crystals going.
Well,
like, how are we going to de-res everybody? I don't know. Grab a salt table shaker. Oh, crap, my fries. Hey, wait a minute. That's a really cool effect. Let's do that.
I think that's just a limitation of the CG software they're using. It's nowhere near as precise as you got from Legacy. That'd be almost insanely expensive. Yeah. But at that time, though, you look at it, and it still has this nice, you know, stylized look to it.
You're talking about the original or the cartoon?
The cartoon.
Right.
A nice stylized look to it, but it's nowhere near as detailed as Legacy.
Oh, right.
So I'm sure they had to cut somewhere. If they try to have them de-res the same way they did in Legacy, my God, the budget must be 3 times as big.
I think it's just longer render times. I think it's just like, okay, we're going to divide the parameter. I think they could do it.
All right.
But still, I mean, it's the fact that they don't kill everybody actually. It's not so much Disney going we must be good for the little kiddies. It's not so much the whole thing. It's, I don't know where the fuck that came from. But I think what it is they're basically also at the same time going, okay, the bad guys kill people.
Right.
The good guys don't. Because if you'll notice in the series, everyone who's died has been a good guy, a quote good guy.
Can I stop you for a second? When you keep on hitting that, it actually shakes the camera.
Sorry.
It's an earthquake like it was 2 days ago. That was a weak 4.0.
It was a weak 4.0.
He hit my roommate's freak. That was funny.
It was so weak I wasn't even here. So it was anyway, so yeah, it's a great series. Check it out. And I'm done nerding. Brought to you by Disney. Thanks, Merc. Because I was going to talk about the Cars Land preview, but now you don't get to see it. Nah.
Disney, give us money. No, they won't.
Not going to happen.
I came across an article to jump tracks now. That there's always, you know, these major companies who have tons of money and therefore they can get ILM or their own digital production companies to help them out. There's a lot of the independent budget movies that can't do that. And obviously to try to make a full-length animated feature, that's nigh impossible.
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yes. It's right there on the screen.
Oh, so it is.
Yes, it is.
Opposable thumb makes for better gaming. Yeah, I think it does. Oh, wait, you're talking about the actual article.
Oh, fun. There's actually a production company in Britain, and they're very small, but they have a budget of about, I think, was it 15 million pounds? So about just a little under $19 million US, which is really small for a US budget for a movie. But in Europe,
even for especially for an animated
one, in Europe, it's considered a decent size. But then again, we're talking a full animated movie. It's still going to be kind of on the cheap side. They decided we're going to find something out there that already works, already has a full animation, that I can manipulate to whatever I want it to do.
So what did they pick?
They picked Valve's Source Engine. Now, here's the thing about that. I'm blown away by what Valve has done. With the exception of the fact they can't figure out a game that ends with 3. But
or even an episode.
We're
still waiting on episode 3.
We're still on episode 3. So anything with a 3 in it,
they can't do.
Just like there's not going to be a Portal 3. There's going to be a Portal
2.5.
2.5 or 2
it's going to
chapter
jump to
1.
4.
Portal 4, The Search for 3. No.
Ooh, hey now. Fell down a hole.
But I got to wonder, I mean, they have amazing graphics for a game. I'm wondering how that would transfer over to a full-length movie. We're talking basically machinima here.
Well, you're right. You're talking giant machinima. I mean, it's been done, but you can have good stories with machinima. Case in point, Red versus Blue.
Yes.
You're gonna fire that up, aren't you?
I'm gonna pick a scene.
You pick a scene. Okay. You can do stuff like they did with Red versus Blue, and other stuff with in-game thing. But the problem is, the only potential issue I'm seeing is you're not doing it at film spec.
Right.
So doing it in a game engine at 4K spec, which is film resolution, number one, you're going to need a monstrously beefy computer to do it. And they're talking about distroing this thing over Steam, which means they may actually just go for 1080. Or make it scalable.
Although I do like the fact that at Steam you can now buy and rent movies from there. Now there's only just one on there right now, and it's an independent film. But the fact that a company is out there that has a game distribution engine and they're going to do it to sell other media, aside from what the consoles do, but that's just grabbing other companies' media and
like
streaming
Netflix
like an app and whatnot.
Right.
This is actually, we put it on our servers and you can buy or rent it and go out there. I kind of like that.
I do, but I don't know. Steam's a little late in the game for that. I mean, other companies...
Okay, Steam is a little late in the game, but still, I'll take Steam any day of the week over Origin.
Okay. Well, speaking of abominations, but using Valve Source Engine at film resolutions, I'm a little wary of. But of the engines that are out there, okay, the current, and I have to specify this because I've seen the new one, the current Unreal Engine, I don't think will work because here's a rant waiting to happen. The current Unreal Engine is too plasticky.
Yes.
Play Batman Arkham Asylum, play Batman Arkham City, play any game done with the Unreal Engine to date, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. The level of detail is incredible. The stuff you can do, you can move, it's all great. But the bodies look like they just stepped out of a wax museum.
And that always happens. They always spend so much time focusing on the facial expressions and the head animations that the rest of the body, even with clothes, you can tell it's like high quality, high specs. I can see my reflection in this one. But then they go to the clothes and it's like we just jumped to 8-bit.
Well, no, that's about. No, I wouldn't go that far.
It's an exaggeration.
It's a glaring error. I mean, the biggest thing for me isn't even so much the clothing, although because you could play that off as, oh, hey, it's patent leather, fine. But the skin.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, you've been hanging out with Joan Rivers' plastic surgeon, haven't you?
I was going to say, this is Ken and Barbie land, but, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. So, Valve, in their engine, current generation, has better skin textures.
Yes.
They still don't look alive, which is a problem that any CG thing has, is making a character not look like a zombie. I think that's what gave Final Fantasy Spirits Within the biggest problem. So... that may be what made them go with Valve instead of Unreal. But the new Unreal's looking a lot better.
Unreal 4, yeah.
Unreal 4's got subsurface scattering.
It looks insane. But then again, that was also a tech demo, so we'll see that actual
I want to see it in
version
practice.
10-15 years down the road when they're in Unreal 5, you know? But jumping back, so it's nice to see that they're going to use Steam as a distribution source, but to use Valve's Source Engine themselves for animation, we're back to machinima. And it's a feature-length machinima.
Okay.
The few of you who may not know what machinima is, basically someone who takes in-game engine and then utilizes that for their own video purposes, video production. They can create stories out of them.
If you've seen the South Park episode, Make Love Not Warcraft, all of these scenes, all of the in Warcraft game scenes, that's classified as machinima. If you've ever watched Red versus Blue, oh, come on, bring it up.
I'm just going to do a good part.
If you've ever watched any of the Red versus Blue, that's classified as machinima. So the possibilities there, I guess I'm kind of old school. I want to see it. I want to see how it looks before I really cast my judgment on it. I'm going to try and keep an open mind. All
right. Well, I'm going to give you a little example of machinima out there. And you can see we're trying to cue this up here. It's Red versus Blue. This is Caboose visits the Halo Reach campaign.
So funny.
Oh, it's great.
I am Michael J. Caboose, and I hate babies. Love that show. Oh, Red vs. Blue is awesome.
No, granted, I mean, the scenes where they were just standing around and talking, that's a good view of what Machinima is.
Mm-hmm.
Red vs. Blue kind of starts blurring that line because they have a deal with Microsoft, and they actually brought a really amazing artist, Monty Ohm, on.
Oh, yeah.
Gave him
Yeah.
custom, the custom models, and just went out and just had a freaking blast with it.
Well, anyone who doesn't know who Monty Ohm is, look him up. It's Monty, Monty is the last name. Look up Dead Fantasy. This is how I first got introduced to Monty Ohm. And I was lucky enough to work with him to get, we were able to premiere one of the episodes of it on at Axe a couple of years ago. And Monty's great. You could tell he's a John Woo fan.
Oh, yeah.
His stuff is very John Woo. Or is it John Woo or Joe Woo? No, Joe Woo. Joe Woo is somebody else. Sorry, it's John Woo. Anyway. John Woo. Birds fly. And hang on, we got an interruption. Yes, we're busy. Go away. Anyway. We're on show, derp. Pardon me, I've got to go kill somebody. I'll be right back.
I love roommates. Roommates, always fun. This is what happens when you have a live show, though, so it's fun. People in the chat are ads for Playboy. They have ads for Playboy body spray in the chat. I'm sorry. For those of you actually with her on...
This is what happens when you film in Jason's apartment and don't tell your roommates what's going on.
I knew it was going on. No, but people are in the chat. Apparently, Ustream, about every 10 minutes, there's an ad. Next week, I'll see if I swap it over to Justin TV and see how that is.
Does Justin TV do ads?
Not as often.
Not as often. Oh, but they still do ads.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay, it's our second show. We have no budget. As soon as we can afford it, we will get you a feed that does not.
Yeah, because those the pro levels for whatever site, Justin TV, Ustream, Livestream, screw Stickcam, but those ones, they cost like what, $60 to $100 a month or something like that.
Is it a month?
There's monthly and annual.
Oh, okay.
So
I know it costs money, and it's money we don't have yet. Sorry, guys.
Once we get really popular in one, maybe we'll do a Kickstarter.
Once the rules evolved. Oh man. So yeah. So moving on from that, the source thing sounds like it's got options. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Coming up, we should probably touch on at least.
Well, why don't you give a quick review? I think about you went to Cars Land, and I'm really envious of that.
Somebody already complained that it was brought to you by Disney. So. Okay. We'll talk about Cars Land here. Twist my arm. It was actually really cool. Thanks to my coworker Amy, who won passes for pass holders for a preview. Mm-hmm. Last Monday we went, and I took a whole ton of pictures.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
And I posted a review of it on the OtakuLife website. OtakuLife.net. So I posted a review of it there. I also posted a link to my Flickr account that has the all the pics that I took. Literally walking into this thing is like you're walking onto the set of Cars, which is really funny because it's a virtual movie. So it's good to see Disney Imagineers bring their A game for once. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love Disney. I've been a Disney fan all my life. I've been pass holder forever, off and on, but mostly on. Mm-hmm. And going through there, it's literally like you're walking into Radiator Springs. You've got, Flo's V8 Cafe over here. You've got Ramon's Body Shop over here. Caddy Corner over here. You've got Luigi's House of Tires. You've got Radiator Springs Curios over here. You got the Cozy Cone. You got Sarge's Supply Shack.
Okay.
It's literally you walk into the town. There are 3 rides. There's Luigi's Floating Tires. Mm-hmm. Which this is where Michael shows his age again. Think the old.
Should I have should I throw a?
Great, now we're back to more Wayne's World. Think like the old. If you've seen the footage of the old UFO rides they used to have at the park, it's like those. Only instead of the UFOs blowing air down, it's the most creative use of drains I've ever seen. It's all these little grates. All over the place, and they've got offset behind scenes. They've got 2 giant fans, turbines, something that blow all this air up a ramp and into this distribution network that blows the air up.
So it's a giant air hockey rink.
Effectively, yes.
Awesome.
And you are the puck. Sort of. There's a bunch of pucks. It's you and 24 other pucks.
Okay.
And they put like beach balls out there.
Mm-hmm.
And the beach balls, I know people are like, why the hell do they have beach balls there? It makes sense because with the beach ball, people will reach for the beach balls.
Mm-hmm.
The way you steer these things is leaning.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a way of like tricking people in actually
Give me
guiding.
the beach ball. Why am I going that way? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
And they start to make the connection.
All right.
So that one was kind of fun. Then the other another ride they have is Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, which was a hell of a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
You look at it and you think, oh God, it's a teacups knockoff because you're going around getting whipped around. You know, the fact that it goes around in around a disc is where the similarity ends. It actually goes around 3 discs.
Okay.
Think of it as a figure 8 with an extra loop. So as you're going around this thing and you're being pulled by the little baby heifer calf tractors, and then you're in this cart that swings side to side, and you go around and the inertia swings you around. So as you go around the circle, you come around. As you come back to the edge of the circle where it joins the other circle, you change off to that circle.
Okay.
It rotates around. Oh, here's the other circle. You change off to that circle. So you're doing this big, crazy 3-loop figure thing, and you wouldn't think it would, but it generates some serious inertia. I was sitting in the seat with this thing with my fiance, and we're like, "Oh, hey, this is fun. Oh, hey, wham!" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But it was a hell of a lot of fun. It really was. But the ride that steals the show is the Radiator Springs Racers. The queuing area is awesome. There's a lot of little subtle things in there. But this answers the question, the way I put it in the review is, this answers the question of what happens if the test track ride from Florida and a classic dark ride have a love child. Because it's combination speed and dark ride.
Okay.
So the first part of it, you're driving around single lane, then you go into the dark ride area, and you're driving into the area around Radiator Springs and through Radiator Springs, and you interact with all the main characters in the movie audio animatronic. Right. Then towards the end of that, you get the cars get separated into 2 tracks, and you get taken out and you line up for a race. That's where the test track part comes in. Okay. And it hauls ass. Yeah, because I know the original test track at Walt Disney World, that's 60 miles an hour. I don't think this one hit 60, but it's definitely faster than Space Mountain's 35. Because it's open air and it's not really much of a windshield. Well, right? and the points where you're coming around the track, you're doing like this. Oh, nice. So you're getting that high bank curve. So you're feeling that power as you're going around. Nice. I haven't figured out where they take the camera yet, but there's an option to buy a picture at the end. And I was sitting here, because I was on the ride thinking the wind's blowing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm holding my hat. So I get off the car. We go look at the picture. All 6 of us in our group got in the car. We get out. We're going, do we want to buy the picture? And there's Nikki doing this with her hat, trying not to lose it. And there's me doing this, going, oh my God, I don't want to lose my hat. We're like, no, we don't want to buy that picture. We don't want that picture. No. So if you're in Southern California and you want to go to people are getting ads. No, one of the catchers who is Amy and her husband, she apparently heard that it hits 40, which is fine. That's still 5 miles an hour faster than Space Mountain, which is pretty impressive. So if you're in Southern California and you feel like heading on over to Disney's California Adventure, it's totally worth it. If you're a fan of the Cars movies, it's completely worth it. It's incredible. It's a lot of fun. It's good to see that the Imagineers are, like I said, bringing their A game, and that they're actually trying to revitalize DCA. Because up until recently, DCA has been California Light for Californians. It really has been, and I know that more than anybody else because I worked there for a year and a half. So it was so sad. But now they're actually putting money into it, and they're actually trying to make it a compatible park. So there's potential here. I've got hope. See what happens. I'm really pissed they took away Electronica, but I heard rumor it may come back. They're doing Mad Tea Party for now, which kind of looks okay. I'm kind of pissed though that it's a Tim Burton candy rave. It is. And they said, oh yeah, we're keeping the arcade. I'm like, okay, cool, I can at least go in there. No, they're all Disney-themed versions of classic arcade games. Is Wreck-It Ralph in there? Probably, I'm sure, one way or another. Because that's going to be an awesome movie. Oh, yeah, that movie looks... I got to imagine... This hour brought to you by Disney. I'll say this before we move on to some anime. Okay.
I gotta only imagine the amount of licenses that Disney had to go through. To
For Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah,
okay, so we're switching gears to Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, just for a moment. And then
Okay, yeah. If you guys get a chance, look it up. It's a lot of fun. It's Tron meets video games meets I don't know how you describe it, but the licensing in the trailer alone, I recognized characters from Midway, Konami, Capcom, Sega, and of course Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Zangief. Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. You know, it's just what? The ghost from Pac-Man.
Oh, that was good.
And thanks to the promo, we now know that Zangief and Chun-Li are an item.
That's right, because they're shown
walking downstairs together, arm in arm.
We'll see what happens. Someone in the channel said, "Hand step, where's Jason been today?" Oh, this thing?
Oh, we're getting to that. Yeah. It's not just Jason. I got it too. One of us. No.
Just a bruise. That's all it is. No.
Yeah, bruise. Right.
Just briefly, we decided to go check out AM Squared today, or the Anaheim Convention Center. Now, we're not going to really talk about it too much because there'll should be a review later on. But we went out, checked out. We mostly went there to hang out see some old faces.
Yeah, a lot of for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure isn't many of you, but for those of you who don't know, AM Squared is a convention that last year made waves by taking on Anime Expo by being on its same weekend, which some people told them they were insane for. I was among them. But you got to admit, it got their name out there. If nothing else, it got their name out there.
Bad pub is good. Is still good pub.
Any pub. I don't even know that it was bad pub. I think it was like, oh my God, jump up and down, let me hear him jingle. Because, they took on the Juggernaut. Mm-hmm. This is their second year. They're back at Anaheim Convention Center. It's this weekend, so if you're in Southern California and you want to go to an anime con, go check it out. A lot of the people wwho run it are former Anime Expo staffers.
Yeah.
A few of them are current Anime Expo staffers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's people, I've known for 10 plus years. And before I couldn't go because I was a paid employee of Anime Expo and there's a whole bunch of politics and BS there.
Long story short, because we're not part of AX, we actually could go.
We actually got to go.
So
I went and visited. It's a good small second year con. I mean, if you're walking in there and expecting to see wall to wall people or something the size of Anime Expo, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a second year event. I'm estimating. Excuse me. I'm ballparking in the brief time we were there. We saw maybe 2,000-3,000 attendees.
Maybe.
Which is impressive for a second year con.
And their main draw is
on day one.
Yes. On a weekday.
Yeah.
But that given aside, one of AM Square's biggest draws, I should say, is that the majority of the panels and events and locations and whatnot is absolutely free to go to. You
exactly.
just walk in, there's no ticket. Now they do have a passport thing where you can get in exclusive events or priority seating and something. Stuff like that. So if you want to pay for that, you can go check it out. But if you want to go to the panels and go to the exhibit hall, and they actually have a brony area, which is cool. I really like that.
That was amusing.
That is all free. So, aside from parking. Do yourself a favor.
Park at the Marriott.
Yeah, park at the Sheraton. It's $10 there. If you go to the Marriott like we did, it's $25.
Yeah,
so
it's freaking insane, the parking.
Yeah.
But it was a good. It was for a second year event. It was a good show. I think it's got a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
If they stick to their guns and keep moving forward, I think they'll build up an audience. They're already doing better than they anticipated.
Yeah.
Especially for a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
For a day one Friday, they're doing okay. I think it's got potential.
We'll see what it goes. I mean, like you said to me earlier, it takes about 3 or 4 years to gauge where the con can go, and this is only year 2.
Right,
so.
and it also takes that much. It takes 3 to 5 years to really get entrenched,
mm-hmm.
if you will. And they're well on their way to doing it. I mean, the people who run it care about it. They're passionate about it,
mm-hmm.
and that goes a long way. That really goes a long way.
Okay.
So, no politics here, guys. Yeah. I think it's got potential, and I've always said, and I will continue to say, there's room for everybody.
Yeah.
There's
if you like
more than enough fandom out here to share.
Yeah, if you like Anime Los Angeles, Anime Kanji, Pacific Media Expo. If you like those kind of small cons and just enjoy that atmosphere, you're going to enjoy ALA.
Yes.
Go check it out.
Yes.
So, and of course, in 2 weeks is Anime Expo. I know I'll be going walking around.
X Games is going to bite you guys.
X Games is going to be yeah, for those of you who don't know, because they've mentioned it here and there online, the X Games is the exact same weekend in the exact same location as Anime Expo this year. The entire convention center inside is just Anime Expo. The moment you walk outside, though, you're going to have rally cars drifting past, you're going to have motocross, you're going to have all this stuff going on, the absolute crazy stuff. I think they're still doing the giant,
the vert ramp?
The giant vert ramp across the street, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, they're doing it. It's going to present a challenge. The Expo team has known about it since, we found out about it. I say we because I was part of the team at the time.
5-6 months ago?
Oh, gods, no. It was earlier than that. We found out about it last X Games.
Oh, okay.
We knew about it. We knew about it as X Games was happening last year. So they've had plenty of time to plan around this. And the sports bros and whatnot to answer QAN, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I would, the security team at Expo is run by Matt Thomas. Yeah. Great guy, knows his stuff. He does security for Westfield malls, all the Westfield malls. Yeah. The guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, between him and Ray and the staff, they're aware of the concerns, and they're beefing up security for it. They're
doing everything in their power to address it.
So if anything, you're not going to really interact with them too much. If you want to, sure, go out there and if you're of age, have a beer with them. Why not? But
I'm having visions of.
Regardless of their concerns, AX is doing everything they can. So I'm sure there's going to be some people or some naysayers. So there's going to be a lot of naysayers, I'm sure. But we can only tell. It happens in 2 weeks. We're going to walk around. I'm going to see what's going on with that. One thing I do want to mention, going away from X Games real quick with AX, is a panel that I'm doing.
Nice, please go right ahead.
I put in a request for a few panels with some of my friends. One was going to be a webcasting 101 with Brian Yang, a good friend who also co-created AX Live. That would have been a lot of fun. Brian will be there. Unfortunately, our panel was declined, as were, I'm sure, hundreds of others. So I'm not looking like, oh, why me? No, there's so many panels that put in requests, so we'll see what happens with that. The one panel that was accepted, though, has actually caused a bit of controversy online. It's called Batman vs. Darth Vader, the Ultimate Geek Showdown. And instantly people went online and says, why the hell is that at an anime con?
And that's a valid question.
It is a very valid question. To be honest, when we first said, well, we're going to put in an application for a panel, I honestly didn't think it was going to go through. But it did, and we're going to make a lot of fun. It's very similar to another panel that's been doing it for years called Giant Robot Rumble. Love those guys. Love the panel. First time I saw that was, I think, 2006. I was actually doing tech. That was the LP1 back at the Anaheim Convention Center. And it was kind of cool. We're sitting there, and 5 people on stage, and they're going, all right, who would win in a fight? We have Megatron versus, I don't know, Pikachu or something. I don't know. Some other mech and whatnot.
Pikachu? Pikachu's not a mech.
Pika-mech.
Lightning and robots, bad.
Anyways, and the one battle came in. It was Optimus Prime versus Tachikoma from Ghost in the Shell.
Okay, that's pretty badass.
And the people on the panel were saying, "Oh, Optimus Prime's gonna beat that in a heartbeat." Me and a good friend, Jason Perry, sat down and raised our hand and went, "Tech has a question," and it takes that as a point. All right, what's going on? Number one, Tachikomas never alone. They're always in packs. And second, Tachikomas can hack. Brief silence. 2 people on the panel went, I'd like to change my vote to Tachikomas. And it literally we took Tachikoma all the way to the semifinal. And it was only beaten by the first generation Gundam, only because the people on the panel were too stubborn for the fact that I think the pilot was psychic and could predict the future. That was the only reason why the Gundam won over the Tachikoma. So I'm like, ugh! But that's classic nerd battle.
Yeah, no, it is.
We're taking that theme and we're going to do it to a little more sci-fi comic. Who's going to win a battle of death? Batman versus Darth Vader. It's going to be fun.
I am
we're
biting my tongue right now.
We're going to see what happens with it. I'm actually in favor of Batman, so
I'm voting Darth. I'm sorry. I'm voting Vader.
I would go into this right now, but I want to save it for the panel. So that's happening, I think, day 4.
I got 2 things to say. Magic versus toys.
Deception and training versus a weak mind.
Will of the universe. Weak mind.
Vader. The dark side can't be... Never mind. We're not going to get into this right now. We're not going to get into this.
Will of the universe versus Wayne Tech.
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. We're not going to go into it because we'll go way over.
Well, let's jump into some anime on that. Have you been watching any series lately? If not, what's the last series you watched?
Last anime series I watched?
Yeah.
Well, I know that my fiance has been really big on Infinite Stratos.
Mm-hmm.
I finally got to watch all of Fumofu.
Really?
Finally got to watch Fumofu. Oh my God. That show is a lot of fun, and the best episode to me of the entire Fumofu series is the Yakuza episode. Where Sasuke takes the Fumofu and trains all the other Yakuzas that are all running around in the Fumofus.
And at the end,
oh my God, I fell out. I was laughing so damn hard. Because they're running in here. You got little giant teddy bears throwing grenades. Blasting doors with blood saws. It was great. So yeah, that was the last thing I watched.
Okay.
Because I've been kind of busy.
No worries. I'm slowly getting back into the swing of actually watching anime on a more regular basis.
Yeah, it's nice to be a fan again.
God, it's so nice. one thing that I got to say before we move on is a side thing. Working at Anime Expo, I worked there for about 7 years, and when I went in, I was a big anime fan, watching probably like 15 series at a time. After the first year, that went down to 1. And in the year after that, for 5 years, I don't think I really watched any anime regularly because I was so busy with the con.
Try being in management.
Yeah,
I mean, when I got promoted to upper management, my anime viewing time went away. I watched a little bit here and there. I watched a little bit here and there, and maybe some movies. But actually, being able to, I managed to force myself to be able to watch Panty and Stocking. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. But I didn't get a lot of time to watch anime. Now I have more time to do it. I'm not doing as much of it as I would like, but I'm slowly starting to get caught up. I mean, there's stories that you've pointed out at me. I really need to freaking finish Bakemonogatari.
Yes,
because it's just before the cat girl shows up.
Yeah.
I need to watch the rest of that. So no, I haven't. What's your latest thing besides the toothbrush rape show?
Let's see. Fate Zero, which is right now, it's just action porn because it's just fight after fight after fight, and it's gorgeous. The animation is top notch. Okay. A very odd one, Mysterious Girlfriend X. Have you ever heard about this?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's kind of a weird one. Guy likes girl. Girl is very odd. Girl, after finally confronting, sticks her finger, or actually no, she... Back up. There's a scene where she's passed out after school and on her desk.
I've seen this. It does not end well.
She's drooling.
I've watched enough hentai to know where this goes.
Close enough. She gets woken up and goes away. The guy is still cleaning up and sees the puddle of drool and decides to stick his finger in it and go, and gets hooked. He starts having fantasies and dreams and whatnot. It's freaking amazing. It's wrong as hell, but it's great.
You ever seen a movie called The Stuff? Have you?
I've seen the trailer.
Okay. Sounds loosely like... There was a movie, really... Oh my God, so bad. Lower than B grade. This is like F grade horror movie from the 80s. From, I think it was 85. I actually wanted to walk out of the theater. The whole idea of The Stuff is it's a schlock horror movie where this white stuff looks kind of like marshmallow cream, comes bubbling out of the ground. So in Alaska, some old miner goes, "What the hell's that?" "I don't know. Tastes pretty good though." And they cut forward like a year or two, and there's truckloads of the stuff. That's all they call it, is the stuff. going around and everybody's eating it. It's the best thing ever.
Soylent Green is people.
It is effectively, an alien critter, and it just starts eating people from the inside. And it's just this really schlock. But I mean, you're talking about that, and I'm like,
well, here's the thing, though.
It's just like, what, does it take him over?
Here's the twist. No, it doesn't. But for some reason, the girl and the guy are connected on a level,
on a salvatory level,
to the point where, as they say they're boyfriend and girlfriend and going out and whatnot, they don't really do anything. They don't really hold hands. They don't kiss. They don't do anything beyond that.
She just drools into a cup and hands it to him.
She drools and sucks her finger, and then sticks the drool in his finger in his mouth. And for some reason, their dreams, emotions, fantasies, thoughts are transferred through the saliva. It's weird as hell, but it's awesome. And I have successfully broke my
No, you haven't broken me yet. You're close. I'm just having visions of several otaku in Akiba having a new fantasy.
Oh, no.
And a new variant of the maid cafe where you could spend, 3,000 yen to let a girl stick her finger in her mouth, then stick it in yours. You know that's going to happen.
Considering the maid cafe that I went to when I was in Japan, actually, I have the picture right in front of me. I didn't even plan this, but I have the picture right in front of me of my maid cafe trip. So,
yeah. Oh, hey, there you go.
What was interesting about this one is that when they took the picture and whatnot, they said, "Oh, you need to dress up." I'm like, "Dress up? How?" And they had a box of like hats and whatnot, and I'm like, "You pick." I'm gonna let her pick and whatnot. And she decides to go. I'm the biggest guy in the room because obviously big American, and she goes, "Let's put you as a giraffe." So I'm wearing like giraffe ears. It was still a unique experience, so I'm glad I went. So,
but with this anime, there's somebody's
gonna
There's gonna be a Saliva cafe.
They'll find.
I won't even go into the health risks here. They're gonna have to get all the girls gonna have to get certed. It's gonna be like the Las Vegas prostitution laws where they gotta get checked every 6 months. Okay, I'm going down a bad road, and we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
So.
Some other things I've watched recently. I'm absolutely in love with this series. I've been talking about it since the initial announcement came out. I actually really like the manga. It's called Sakimichi no Appalum, or Kids on the Slope.
Okay.
The premise is the 1960s. You have this main character, this guy, he's like 16 or whatnot, classically trained pianist, and through a random of things, he actually gets involved with this guy. He's kind of like a brute, and like a delinquent, I should say, but he's a jazz drummer, and slowly gets him to involved with jazz. And it's them.
Oh, no wonder you love it.
Oh, I'm a musician. I'm a jazz musician, so I was like, okay, cool. Go check it out, and they're doing a lot of the classic standards. Someday My Prince Will Come, Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Moanin'. I mean, and they play these things so well. And during the performance scenes in almost every single episode, they rotoscoped the performers actually playing them, so it's spot on.
So it's kind of like the guitar scenes in Metalocalypse, only with jazz.
Mm-hmm. So the animation's great. The storyline is very. I would say heartwarming at times. It's a classic, guy likes girl likes other guy, the girl comes back to like the guy and goes back and forth. I can go along with it. Here's the two main draws for me. One is it's directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, famously known for directing Cowboy Bebop. And the music is by another Cowboy Bebop alum, the legendary Yoko Kanno.
Okay, I was like, you just got my attention. You just got my attention.
Yeah. I actually,
as a drummer and as a Kano fan, you completely got my attention.
It's so amazing. It is awesome. Especially, it was like episode, I think, 8. It doesn't give anything away in terms of the storyline and whatnot. There's, a festival going on, and what turns into, an issue and like, power went out, we can't do anything, turned into the drummer and the pianist actually doing this like 3.5 minute medley of like 4 different classic tunes, and it's one of the best renditions I have. Well, you want to worry about that?
Okay.
It's one of the best renditions I have ever heard in recent memory, and it's in an anime, and it's incredible. The OST is awesome. It's a must buy. Go watch it on Crunchyroll. They're on episode 9 now.
Okay.
So, plus I'm watching other stuff like Monotu Pirates and a couple other things. So,
is that Bodacious Space Pirates?
Yeah, Monotu Pirates is Bodacious Space Pirates. Say what you will about the
I
title.
haven't seen it. The title's amusing.
The title's amusing, and it's cute.
Okay.
Nothing really deep, but it's cute. The animation is nice.
Is it a fan service anime?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. High school girls. What do you expect?
Are we talking fan servicey in the sense of, oh god,
It's not Golden Boy level.
no, gods, no, no, not
I
Golden
know
Boy.
those.
Oh, that's nice. No, the Van Dread. Are we talking like Van Dread level?
Kind of like Van Dread level, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's worth it. You guys can check it out. It's fun. It's also on Crunchyroll, and I think on the Anime Network as well.
Okay.
QB and Jackson in the chat. Ever listen to Wynton Marsalis? Love Wynton Marsalis. Actually, the entire Marsalis family. When they're in town, I go see them. I go broke to do so, but whatever. They're awesome.
Okay.
I actually have a good amount of his CDs. Wynton Marsalis, The Big Fat Band, Gordon Goodwin, and I can go through the whole jazz thing. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I think that almost wraps it up.
Okay.
I mean, do we have anything else we want to talk about in 3 minutes?
In 3 minutes, like we talked about earlier, it's just a great time to be a nerd.
Oh yeah, it is.
It is a fantastic time to be a nerd.
Yeah, they're actually marketing to nerds these days. It's weird.
Granted, you get the hipster nerds and tied in with that, but you have to take the good with the bad.
I was a fan before fandom was cool. I know everything that Star Trek happened and all the stuff in Star Wars. God damn it, really?
Star Trek 6 was not happening to Star Trek 3. I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, it was Star Trek 5 that didn't happen. Where we answer the question why God needs a starship. Yes.
Because he wants to go driving down the strip for chicks.
That's right. The old sparkle, the old shower of sparkles and ravaging as a cuttlefish just doesn't work anymore.
I still think there needs to be a fighting game out there of all the gods. I need to have Cthulhu fight the great spaghetti monster in the sky.
Flying spaghetti monster versus Cthulhu.
Have you been touched by his newly appendage?
Not that I'm willing to admit with my fiance in there. No, seriously though. I have something else we can mention. Speaking of Star Trek, did you hear who got cast as the villain for the new movie?
No.
Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch from Sherlock.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
You know how I found out?
I
was listening to the Nerdist podcast with.
the Nerdist, yeah.
Yeah, the Nerdist podcast with Chris Hardwick, and he interviewed Brent Spiner.
Nice.
And Brent Spiner was apparently doing dinner with out to dinner with Patrick Stewart after he'd gotten knighted. And Cumberbatch walks up to him and goes, I have to ask you a question, or I'd like to talk with you at some point. And Patrick Stewart, oh, call me later, whatever. And he's like, no, we need to ask you now. And he's like, okay. He's like, yeah, I just got cast as the new villain in the new Star Trek movie, and I need to know, is this going to ruin my career?
Typecast.
And Stewart gave whatever gracious answer Stewart usually gives, but Brent Spiner was, yes, you will never work again.
Hey, it can be all that bad. I mean, look at Will Wheaton. I love Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton's awesome.
Will Wheaton's a good. Now that he's grown up a bit, he's great. When I knew him, he was a dick.
He was a kid.
Yes, but that didn't stop him from being a dick. Want me to tell you the drunken Ren Fair stories about Will Wheaton
we'll have to do that in another
1990 Ren Fair? Yeah. Anyway,
right. I think that's it for
I
this
think we're
episode.
Stop there.
I like this. The whole thing was just freeform, going around and
Get
having
a couple
fun,
ideas
talking
what we
to
want
people
to
in
talk
the chat.
about. Did you guys? For those of you who watched this last week, was this a little smoother flowing for y'all? I hope.
I think it's a little bit smoother for us for the sole fact we're in the same room. There's not that like half a second to a second delay.
Even with a half second, we'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll find a way.
Next week, by the way, I won't be here. I
There'll
will be
back
at my home. The line will be here again. So, yes, the leveled audio is very nice. Thank you very much for noticing that, HPL. I got to figure out who the hell HPL is. Anyway,
reveal thyself.
come forth, I do summon thee. And I'll Points if you get that. Anyway, if you know what it's from. You know, because I've told you. Do you remember?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot now.
You're right, I am. I'm going to test your nerd button.
Good night, everybody.
All right, we'll wrap it there. Okay, guys, thank you very much. And Jason in a sock puppet.
Pretend I'm not here.
What's up? Anyway, okay. So thank you very much, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it there, and somewhere in here we're gonna fade out to black and go.
Yeah, we'll do a shot at the end. I'll put it in post.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Hey, we have an intro this week.
Hey,
Syphil and Ollie.
the Syphil and Ollie show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I know what they're referring to. So this week we had an intro.
Intro's good.
Next week, lower thirds.
Maybe. If Photoshop stops being a dick, but
Just give me the damn templates and I'll do it. My
Okay.
Photoshop behaves.
all right, fine. All right, everybody. Thank you very much
for joining us, guys. And we will talk to you next week.
All right. Night.
Bye. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay.
And scene.
We're going to do that again. All right. Turn it off. Push the button.
Aw, no post show.
We can post show if you want.
We've been doing this for
We
an
can-
hour. I think it's let's quit while we're ahead.
Yeah, let's quit while we're ahead before we start getting really raunchy.
All right, everybody.
Later, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.